Hey guys, today I want to talk a little bit about planning for the worst. What are you going to do? What's going to happen? What could happen? You know, we really don't know what's going to happen in the world with this current state of chaos that's going on in the world with the virus, with Ukraine and Russia, with China, the Tonga volcano. A lot of things that happen in the world really, really fast, and it's actually kind of scary to watch. And I wanted to put this out there. Also, we had Odette, okay? A lot of people in the Philippines are getting up and leaving now because of what happened with Odette, because their homes were destroyed. They were devastated. So some of the expats that I've talked to down south that says, you know what, I'm leaving. I'm going back home. A couple of people have said that recently to me. It's sad that they're leaving, but you know what? I understand why. Philippines can be rough on your life. It's not easy here. You know, you have to live in a place where it doesn't get struck much by volcanoes or typhoons or unrest or whatever. You need to be in a safe place. And that's one of the reasons why I took the place that I took. I want to be close to the airport. I'm in a safe place. I'm near a volcano, but you know what? That volcano really doesn't affect me that much. Tal doesn't really affect me. You know, but the other thing is, you know, neither do typhoons. Our region where we are just doesn't get affected that much by typhoons. We get heavy winds, a lot of rain, maybe a little flooding, but we never get the rooftops blown off and things like that around here. That much. It doesn't happen that much. We're very lucky that we are that way here in this section. But what I want to say is this. With the world right now in a state of unrest, it's almost like it's on fire. You know, it's kind of scary. You know, and we need to kind of put that fire out. It kind of reminds me of this. Back in the Vietnam War, I heard this story of this guy, and I'm not a Vietnam vet. It was posted on a vlog, and this guy was talking. It was really kind of interesting. And this vlogger was talking about that he was in this tank that got hit by an RPG. And when he got struck by the RPG, the tank lit on fire inside the tank, and all of a sudden, you know, all this stuff started happening. It was terrible what was happening. And the guy was like, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Do I put the fire out? What's next? You know, how do I do this? You know, he sees a fire extinguisher in the corner. He grabs it, he pulls it, he tries to put the fire out. And all of a sudden he realizes, wait a minute. He starts, you know, pulling that thing for the CO2 to come pouring out to put the fire out and cool it down. He realizes that 2 days before, he used it to cool down beer. That's kind of the way the United States is right now. You know, we're trying to figure out how to put out the fire, but we used all our CO2 to cool down the beer. That's the way our leaders are nowadays. It's kind of like we're throwing money at everything, you know, giving away everything. We're giving away the bank. You know, nobody is really thinking anymore. And everybody just wants the money. And if you throw money at me, I'll vote for you. That's kind of the way people think nowadays. You know, throw me the money and I'll show you the votes. And it's not a good way of living. You know, we need to plan all the time, constantly, consistently. And the most important thing right now is because of what's going on in the US, the world is in chaos. And not just because of what's going on with the world. You know, it's everything. You know, it's not just in the Philippines, it's not just in the United States, it's everywhere. It's all everywhere, all around the world, everywhere. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's afraid. Everybody's talking about these crazy conspiracy theories about, you know, what's going to happen next. This is my theory about what's going on. And we have no plan. So what I was going to say is this. Get ready, and be prepared 100% of the time. Have a list of everything that you're going to take with you when you leave. You're going to have to leave some stuff behind. Let's face it. Whenever you move to another country, you take on a lot of things. That's why I try to be a minimalist. It's one of the best things I ever did was to try to be a minimalist. And figure out what you're going to grab, what you're going to pack in your suitcases, and put it on your list. So that when you get ready to leave, you pack away everything that's important to you. All your important papers, all your clothes, any memories you want to take with you, make sure you have all that stuff ready. Have some extra cash available. I have this little briefcase I have everything in there. It's ready to roll. It has all my papers in there, all my documents. So I could take off to Mexico. I could take off to Belize, or I could take off to Ecuador, or wherever I want to go. And I'd have everything with me for the government there. Whatever they asked me for, I'd have the documents. I have extra documents. I have extra IDs. I have all kinds of IDs, extras of everything. And that's the way you have to kind of live today. You have to be prepared for every single thing that's going to happen in the world. And a lot of people aren't prepared for that. They're not ready. A lot of people that I talk to here, they have a medical problem all of a sudden in the Philippines, and it sets them back really bad. It throws them into a tizzy, into a loop, and all of a sudden they're stricken with poverty. They have no money, and you need to be prepared for that too. But you know what? Most of the stuff that we're talking about right now, and it's important, is we're talking about world issues. You know, China's not going to sit still forever, I don't think. Some people think so. I'm of the side that thinks that it's not going to sit still. Xi's on the move. Xi is ready to conquer the world, if you want to say that. I think he will too. I think he'll do something with Russia. I think the two of them will get together and they'll do something at the same time, just like with Germany and with Japan. We're fighting two wars on two fronts, one on one side of the world, one on the other. You know, it was terrible, and it's happening again. I don't think this chaos that's going on in the world right now is going to go away. You know, do I think there's a conspiracy theory or something like that that's going on? Everybody has their theories. I don't know what to say. I think it's just a chaotic world. I have my theories on things, and some people might say I'm crazy for believing in what I believe in, but you know something? I've researched it enough that I kind of believe what I believe, and I'm stuck on that, okay? Because I see it. I've seen things to prove it, and I know that we're heading into something that we have no control over. So what do? Do we get sad, depressed? No. You keep your inner peace. You pray. If you're a religious person, you keep your life under control. You keep it safe, and you keep it prepared to be ready for anything in the world at any given time. And I know some people say, well, Steve, we're you know, it sounds like you're ready. You're always constantly preparing, but you're not living. No, I live, okay? But I also prepare. You know, if you're heading towards the rocks, you know, they always say, well, geez, if you're heading towards the rocks, you want to pray that you're not going to hit the rocks. Well, you need to pray and row at the same time away from the rocks. Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. You know, you need to start rowing, but you also need to start praying, you know, about this stuff if you're of the religious type. And I am. I know there's a lot of people out there that aren't. I'm not trying to get all religious with you people. You know, I'm just saying my thoughts on that. And that's what I believe. But anyway, you know, guys, just if there's one thing I can tell you, have all your stuff ready to move. Because in the Philippines, we might be on ground zero in the future sometime. You know, if Taiwan gets taken over, will we be next? I don't know. You know what? They have a lot of Chinese people in here now. They came in under the SRRV process. About 27,000 of them. They're all about 35, 40 years old, somewhere in there. They're still in that fighting range. Kind of strange that a lot of people retired in China, you know, and they're 35 to 40 years old, but they look like they're 25 or 20. Makes one wonder for sure. You know, and the Philippines admitted that mistake, that they had let all these people in here. Well, the other thing is, China has bought up a lot of industries and things like that in the Philippines, and a lot of islands to build casinos and stuff. Now, one would say, well, Steve, how do they do that? How do they own that land? It has to be 60-40. Well, I'm sure they figure it out. I'm sure they have some Chinese people that had kids a long time ago with Filipinos. So that person, if they're born in the Philippines but they're half Chinese, now all of a sudden they're a Filipino citizen. So they have it figured out. They know, they play the long game. They know what they're doing. You know, and trust me, they got it figured out. If something does happen, it's probably going to happen from the inside first, and then they'll come in. I don't know. It's a strange mess that we're in, a strange conundrum that the world is in right now. There's a lot of things going on. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. Be prepared, guys. Have your papers ready. Have a list. You know, have an emergency thing that you can grab. Even if it's just paperwork. If something happens, an earthquake or something, grab that thing, head outside the house, so at least you have your most important documents and your banking stuff, all your banking documents, your ATM cards, phone numbers to family members, and possibly an extra cell phone or whatever, an emergency cell phone with an extra battery in there, ready to roll in case your phone gets lost or you can't find it. Things like that are going to happen. A lot of people don't consider, hey, I need to have a junk phone. A junk phone's important. Okay, you need to have like a phone that's gonna work here. Okay, it might not be an expensive phone, but at least it's a phone that will get you in touch with people that you need to get in touch with. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to throw that out there. I don't mean to scare people, but things are gonna happen. Sooner or later, something's gonna happen. It's already starting to happen. We've had that Tonga thing, the tsunami. We've had Odette here in the Philippines. Threats of war in the Ukraine. Threats of war with China. Is that going to slow down and go away? No, if anything, it's probably going to get worse. Let's face it, our political leaders are pretty much out of control. They really don't know what they're doing. That's the problem, you know? They reach for that fire extinguisher, that CO2 extinguisher to try to put out the world crisis, and they realize, oh, wow, I used that to cool down my beer the other day. It's the way things are in the world today. We don't think correctly. Anyway, guys, God bless. Take care.